Hi, the goal of this video is to help you create an exercise doing an analysis of the KindyBis case outsourcing problem. So you can see I have the KindyBis Exhibit 2 on the screen. This is probably the place you want to start, although you're also going to use Exhibit 1 in this exercise. So what is this? Exhibit 2 is exactly what the title says. It's the summary table produced by the company to evaluate its potential suppliers. It's already decided it's going to outsource, and your job is to decide where the outsourcing should be. So you can do this exercise by hand or in Excel. I'm going to show it in Excel, but this is simple arithmetic, and you could do it on a piece of paper as well. So the first step is to evaluate each of the decision factors to evaluate the suppliers. Right? We want to say how important to KindyBis is each factor. That's the first step in this, and this is multi-attribute decision analysis. So we have the factors or attributes listed on the side here. So purchase price per batch is the first one, transport costs, and so on. So to simplify this somewhat, let's think about this as all these factors are going to play some role, but we really want to think about the ones that we think are most important. So your first job is to take this list and identify which 5 factors you think are most important that KindyBis absolutely has to consider in making this decision, and explain why. So make notes about why you think each one is important, because that's going to be the basis for class discussion. And normally we would evaluate all of the factors, but some of them are going to have very small weights, so some of them are not going to matter very much, which is why choosing a top set is viable. So we'll assume that we've done that, and we'll switch over to our grid here. And you can see I've set up a little table in Excel, which I hope you can read, where I've got the factors in the column A, and then a column for factor weights, and then a column for each of the outsourcing locations, potential suppliers. And so let's assume that we've got these factors in order, and you can see that I took purchase price per batch from the top row, and let's say that we think this is the most important, so we're going to give it the biggest weight. We're going to say that this is most important. We're going to quantify that. So if we had a scale of 1 to 10, 10 would be the most important, and we're going to do that for every factor. So factor 2, whatever it is, transport costs, they speak the same language, do they have ERP system, are they close, are transport costs low, so on. Those kinds of things are going to be in here, but let's just say we rank them in order, and it's okay to have ties, so I'm going to rate the last two as 4, right? So what does this do? This says that we've got 32 total points for weight, and 10 of them, a third of them, are going to purchase price per batch. And so we can, and the next step is to evaluate how well each of these suppliers delivers this factor. So if we go back to Exhibit 2, right, you can see the prices here, right? So Poland is cheapest, followed by Turkey, then by Portugal, and Poland and Turkey are pretty close together, right? So we go back over here, we can say that Poland has the best price, it's the lowest price, so we'll say, but it's not a great price necessarily, so let's say 9. And then Portugal is close, but not the same, so let's say 8. And then Turkey is, excuse me, I got that wrong. Let's go back over here. Turkey is the second cheapest, so Turkey should be D8, and Portugal, the Lisbon factory, let's say 6, right? And I would go through this process for all the factors. I would fill out the table, right? So the next thing you want to do is multiply the factor weights by the, and I'm just going to do these, you want to do the factor weights by the supplier weights. So for instance, for the first factor, it would be this cell times this cell, right? And repeat that. This cell times this cell, and this cell times this cell, and so on. We would do that for all of the factors, and then we would add them up, and the total, the supplier with the largest total would be the most desirable, right? So we would wind up with a table. If we do this, we just sort of, I'm going to put some random numbers in here. Oops. Right, and we could just take all of these, and I'm just going to copy the formula down, right, and then we could total these. And so in my random example here, Portugal is the best, right? Has the biggest value. So that's how you do multi-attribute decision making, or grid utility grid decision making. And remember that it's a very subjective process. We've got some quantifiable, or some quantities, some known quantities that we didn't calculate, that we assigned weights to, but for factor weights, and then how we evaluate differences between quantities are subjective factors, and you basically have to do it, and it's better to do it in a group, get agreement, which gives you greater validity and buy-in in the decision-making process. And I don't remember how to turn this off.